Was a girl running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
Now we got to go and drive around through the car world and listen to some of these stories. This one is a little different, and I don't know if I would put up with this if I was Elon, but I guess he's going to. Tesla Autopilot trainers to ignore no turn on red signs, this report states. A former worker at a Tesla data annotation center said the company wanted its cars to drive like a human would, not a robot. That's just following the rules. So they're going to ignore the no turn on red.
So I'm okay with this, I'll be honest.
Well, I know, but some people, what if it's a crossing intersection for school?
Well, again, so same idea is that if you're, this goes back to the whole hitting fire trucks thing. If they want to, the technology exists to put in those protections. Mm-hmm. So we talked about putting in beacons on fire trucks. You can put in a beacon on a school bus. You could put in a beacon on the school. Yeah. You can do all these things so that the car knows, hey, I'm coming to a school zone, right? I mean, so no, nobody's encouraging, hopefully Elon's not encouraging people to speed through school zones or anything like that. But I mean, again, the same idea of like, I'm sure you've been in that situation. You pull up to an intersection at midnight, nobody's around anywhere. You got to sit there and wait for the light to change. And it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I know. Well, my intersection is no turn on red when children are present.
Right, and that's fair. Everybody would agree with you on that.
Leave the kids alone.
But again, the Tesla doesn't exactly have the ability to look around for kids, but no. I mean, it can look around,
He's going to have to program them. They're about this tall.
Right. Hopefully the sensors are low enough to pick them up.
You hope so. The publication said it interviewed 17 current and former workers on the electric vehicle maker's data annotation team, which is split among offices in New York, California, and Utah. Why Utah, I wonder? The workers spend their days watching 30-second recordings captured by the cameras on the outside and inside of Tesla vehicles. Well, that's probably what you got to do. I mean, that's what you have to do. Although the workers have to know about driving regulations in whatever part of the world the videos they watch came from, some said they were instructed to not teach autopilot to follow certain traffic signs. In other words, program it so it does what it wants to do. It's a driver-first mentality, one former worker told Business Insider. I think the idea is we want to train it to drive like a human would, not like a robot that's just following rules. This is not, I suppose, Chuck, I might go along with you.
Well, but we've created this scenario. We've talked about this before where we've encouraged pedestrians. You can just walk out in the middle of the street, even if you're looking on your phone, and we have to stop for you, right? Just walk. You don't worry about a crosswalk. Just walk out in the middle of the street. Everybody will stop for you. Hopefully they all see you. Same with the bicyclists that run red lights.
Oh yeah, they do all the time.
So I mean, at the end of the day, you have to train the autopilot to be kind of defensive.
Well, I will say I ride my scooter, and I cross at crosswalks and stuff, but I wait for the light to be the right way, and right. I got nobody bothering me, and I'm not holding anybody up. But yeah,
but I mean that's the problem with the autopilot, that software, is you're training it to follow the rules. Right. But in a world where nobody else is following the rules.
Well, and I could see it causing a wreck if there was somebody behind you and there was no reason to stop.
There's been plenty of times that you've yelled, why'd you stop at the yellow light, you idiot? Stuff like that, where people stop early and it's like, I was expecting you to run the yellow light.
We have a lot of that at our intersection. Right. People screaming at each other,
sure,
honking horns.
Because again, there's sort of like this, we just call it sort of societal expectations that if there's a yellow light, we're going to run through it. We're not going to slam on our brakes, right? I mean,
some young kid threw a Coke at the old lady in front of her, because she wouldn't make the right turn on red.
Well, I mean,
she was scared.
Right. But again, you also are in a world where every once in a while you have an intersection with a camera that's going to take your picture and send you a ticket. So I don't blame them.
And give you a ticket, yes. Yeah, I don't know if ours is one of them, but I know it's a school crossing. All right. The current administration on September 13th locked in steep tariff hikes on Chinese imports, including 100% duty on electric vehicles to boost projections for strategic industries from China's state-driven industrial practices. I got to tell you, they don't like these are forced labors. The U.S. Trade Representative's office said that many of the tariffs, including a 100% duty on Chinese electric vehicles, 50% on solar cells, and 25% on steel, aluminum, electric vehicle batteries, key minerals, would take effect on September 27th. That might be why the Chinese are closing that one plant in the United States. The USTR, U.S. Trade Representative's Office, determination published on Friday and first reported by Reuters, showed that a 50% duty on Chinese semiconductors, now including two new categories, silicone wafers and polysilicon, used in solar panels, is due to start in 2025. We go from running out of chips to tariffing them. I mean, I don't know. Chinese goods ranging from toys to T-shirts to internet routers and industrial machinery they are at rates of 7.5% to 25%. The final decision largely disregarded pleas from automakers for lower tariffs on graphite and critical minerals used in electric vehicle production, battery production, because they are still dependent on Chinese supplies. You know, you can't buy, the only place that's got a lot of graphite is China. That's a critical mineral for the battery. Charles, I mean, you can't buy, I mean, we should have graphite in this country. The action drew industry complaints, and that increases would disrupt supply chains, including a semiconductor-intensive products, and do little to stop China's technology transfer and industry domination practices that have led to excess factory production, now flooding global markets. Since implementation, the tariffs have cumulatively cost American businesses and consumers $221 billion. While failing to alter Chinese trade policies and practices of concern. Information Technology Industries Council President Jason Oxman said in a statement, that's what he says, it's cost the United States economy $221 billion to have these tariffs put on. I don't know if that's, were they not done the right way or what? I don't, you know, who's in charge of this garbage? Well, I know now, but that's fine. All right. Here's a little sweetheart. Volkswagen is dropping their in-house U.S. auto loans, giving business to Wells Fargo. Hell, Wells Fargo's been indicted for practices like that.
Yeah, it's no better, really.
Not really. Volkswagen's captive finance company will refer U.S. Audi and Volkswagen buyers to Wells Fargo for loans starting in April, but will keep writing leases. They'll do their own leases. The in-house grab your money bit. Volkswagen will cease to write U.S. Audi and VW loans through its in-house captive finance company, Volkswagen Financial Services, and instead send that business to Wells Fargo. We know that. After this transition, VWFS Financial Services will focus on consumers' leasing and usage-based products, including mobility solutions, supporting Volkswagen Group's growth strategy in the U.S. A joint news release announcing this change, September 16th, stated. The release called the partnership a multi-year co-branded agreement. I just don't buy it. And Wells Fargo is no better. Oh my God. That's like putting the fox in charge of the hen house, for God's sakes. How many times did we report on them getting busted and have them pay back? They were the ones that did our military guys. They were really hosing our military guys that were going overseas. Just, And when they came back, these guys, they collected some big dough out of these guys because they repossessed their car from their wife, and the wife couldn't go to the grocery store. Yeah, well, Wells Fargo's no better. I don't think that's going to be a good move on VW's part. GM is the last, not the last one, but their electric vehicles now will have access to Tesla superchargers, but they have to buy a $225 adapter. GM electric vehicle owners will need to purchase an adapter for $225 to access the superchargers, which use the Tesla-designed North American charging station connector. It's an adapter. I don't like electric adapters, Chuck. I've had nothing but bad experience with electric adapters. Tesla will need to purchase the Tesla-designed North American charging standard connector. Eventually will be built into future GM electric vehicles. But for now, you got to go out and buy this adapter. Chevrolet, GMC, and Cadillac electric vehicle owners can buy adapters through their brand mobile app, which also can be used to find superchargers. Yeah. Check availability and pay for charging. I still want to know how much they're paying. There's just so vague with the prices. GM said, this is what GM said, Buick does not yet sell an EV in the United States. Buick, we'll talk about that in a second. The automaker intends to build the NACS port into its electric vehicles as soon as the 2026 model year. This guy Schaefer said, Ford Motor Company, which announced its deal to access Tesla's charging network shortly before GM did last year, is allowing consumers to raise or reserve a NACS adapter for free through September 30th. And after that, if customers want to buy more than one, the cost is $230 at Ford. But they did announce they were going to the Tesla network. But you need an adapter. Get your $225 adapter here, folks.
And by the way, if you use the cheaper adapter from Amazon, you will void your warranty.
Oh, absolutely.
So
you probably
sure
burn your neighborhood down. Give me a break. It's crazy, just crazy. You know, and I'm going to tell you something about Buick. Buick doesn't have an electric car yet. You can look for Buick to start to phase out. Okay, before China was in the big-time car business, Buick, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac, part of GM. GM had to cut their losses on Pontiac and Oldsmobile. But they kept Buick. And you know why they kept Buick? Because we sold a ton of them in China. But I'm sure they're not selling them in China anymore. And if they did, they'd have to be electric. China wants all electric. And GM is... That's why they kept Buick. So you can look for Buick to probably say goodbye before long. Unless, of course, General Motors finds a way to slap that Buick body on one of their chassis. We'll find out. We're looking at new batteries. And different batteries are coming along down the pipeline. Some good stuff. Among the breakthroughs was Toyota's announcement that it won MET1 approval to develop and produce two new types of batteries that are crucial to its next generation electric vehicle development plans from around 2026. They include a next generation high performance lithium ion battery and an all solid state battery. I'm interested in that solid state. The world's largest car maker said it would pursue in-house development and production of the solid-state batteries, which are expected in the 27 to 28 time frame. There you go. You don't get fires with solid-state batteries. You just don't. And you know what? They got some government issue coming to them. I wonder if Japan would subsidize them like we do our guys. The other new battery, well, we're going to talk about that right now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is Nissan also got approval from METI, whatever, to develop and mass produce lithium iron phosphate batteries, a kind of chemistry seen as bringing lower production costs and better safety because it's not volatile. This lithium iron phosphate doesn't blow up when it gets hot or cold. Nissan said it would install the LFP batteries in electric mini vehicles around 2028 and make the batteries in Japan. Production volume was pegged at 5 gigawatts a year. I don't even understand what that means. With total investment of 153.3 billion yen. Got any yen on you, Chuck? That's 1.07 American greenbacks, including a 55.7 billion or 388.2 million grant. Oh, so they're getting some money from Japan. Well, that's nice. Japan should be subsidizing some of these guys. Meanwhile, Toyota-affiliated automakers Subaru and Mazda joined the chorus of battery updates. Both of their battery production plans will be done in conjunction with Panasonic. That's pretty cool. Subaru wants electric vehicles to comprise about half its targeted global sales of 1.2 million in 2030. My goodness, that's a lot of batteries, a lot of cars. Mazda will also team with Panasonic to source next generation cylindrical batteries from the suppliers' factories in Sumino and this is a good one, Kaizuka, both in Osaka from 2027. You ever been to Osaka, Chuck? Come on, let's go to Osaka. We got to tell Rick we're going on a road trip. We got to go to Osaka. We'll get the corporate jet. Come on, Rick, give us the corporate jet. Don't be a hog. He's been flying all over in that thing. Okay, why are U.S. dealers getting more pessimistic about the market? This Cox third quarter poll gives us clues. Investment interest rates, the economy, and political climate, there you are. We talked about that a little while ago, are the top 3 issues for franchise dealers in the third quarter. Cox Automotive Dealer Sentiment Index. Yes. Cox's latest Dealer Sentiment Index survey added 536 franchise dealers from July 23rd to August 7th, what they thought their area market would be like in 3 months later. The franchise dealers gave the future market a score of 49, down from 52 a quarter earlier, and 58 during the third quarter of 2023. These are going down, I'm telling you. It was only the third time in the index's 7-year history that franchise dealers' 3-month outlook rating fell below 50. Yeah, I'm telling you, index results greater than 50 indicate dealers view conditions as positive or improving. A score of 50 is neutral. Scores below 50 indicate conditions are negative or weakening. And by golly, yes, they are.